Okay, it's time for a video that I've procrastinated on for so long that several of these games have actually came out as full releases now and been critically acclaimed and sold thousands, so at this point, my thoughts probably don't mean shit. Oh well. At this point, my most pressing concern is just crossing this off a to-do list and freeing up over 30 gigs of space. If you played Shadow Tactics or Desperados, you'll know exactly what to expect from Shadow Gambit, and you better appreciate it because it's the last one you're going to get from these guys. They are shutting up shop. The game seemed to be well received and didn't exactly bomb, but I guess they're just done with taking years to make video games. Video games? Video games. Chants of Sennaar is a game where you're shown symbols and you have scenarios and context with how to figure it out, and a little notebook where you get to type in what you think it might be. You can freely type in, but then at the end of every chapter they kind of zero in with its suggestions, its elbow to the ribcage of, hey, did you mean pass instead of go around? Did you mean team instead of the gang? It gets a little unsubtle at points, but I guess it's to keep you on the right track and the game to be flowing forward and what have you. Seek, want, find, go, pass. Okay. I guess they just get explicit because then people would be getting too far from the meanings. I've heard a lot of great things about El Paso elsewhere. Game crashed. It's a shame I didn't see any of them. Ugly is a 2D puzzle platformer based around the reflection gimmick. It's really clean, well-paced demo. In the space of 10 minutes, you basically have the intro to the story, how to use the mechanic, optional story things you can take a look at, basic puzzles, and a eureka moment. And you also go into these big hubs, so you can get an idea about how big the hub is, what it can lead to. Your imagination can sparkle or whatever about how big the game actually is. I've already played it, the full version. It's about 3 hours long, and then once the credits roll, it says you've completed part 1. 3 hours is enough for me, quite frankly. Sea of Stars is by the same devs that did The Messenger, a 2D platformer where you're a ninja and you fly, and it's 8-bit, and then you get through the game and it's like, surprise, it's double the game, and it's also 16-bit. And you can go to all those areas that you suspiciously couldn't go to in the first half of the game. Regardless, slightly cynical about what they could accomplish with this game, considering jumping from one genre to the other doesn't really go so smoothly. See Witcher 3 to Cyberpunk, for example. This one was perfectly fine though. Its template seems like they took a little from CrossCode and that they got that top-down look, and you simply platform by walking towards a ledge and then you'll jump off it onto a ledge if there's another one within range, or you'll fall down if there's ground to fall down to. The combat was mildly interesting. There's dangerous guys, and you're definitely going to take a hit in this, but you can plan around destroying who. I mean, essentially you're not just doing attack, 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 block, heal, attack, attack, attack. You got something interesting to toss around in your mind with what order to do things in. That said, the gameplay, the demo, was like 40 minutes, so, it's an RPG. It's going to be dozens of hours. Whether they can expand on that, or it's just the same thing again and again and again for 40 hours, we don't really know. Can't say too much about the story since you're just kind of thrown in to the center of it here. All you do is speak with some pirates, and you get to walk around a little town at the beginning. There's nothing awfully interesting about the town, but, it's highly detailed. It's visually... but can't really say you want to get back there ASAP. Voidborn. I completely forgot I played this. It's a first-person shooter roguelike. You basically go into rooms, the rooms lock, you kill a bunch of dudes, you leave the room. You run away, you shoot the guys. Not much more to say. I can't remember a single pickup or perk or adaptation, whatever they call the roguelike abilities in this game. I don't know. You shoot things. Neuronica is a puzzle game where you essentially link nodes to each other. It's a little different from everything else because the content in the prologue differs greatly from the content in early access. In early access, it's more of a fleshed out, smooth difficulty curve. Like you'll have the kind of thing where you can see it clearly on level select screen where you've got like a sequence of 3 levels, and level 1 is the easy mode, level 2 is medium mode, level 3 is the advanced. Whereas in the prologue, I think you were just given like 10 big puzzles, and they're just like go for it. There might be like 5 different colored nodes on level 3, and the game's just like, I'm sure you can handle it. Just go for it. So you don't necessarily get puzzles that are like bang, 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 bang in the prologue. You might get something that you're staring at for over 20 minutes before you finally get to the conclusion. It's strange, and ultimately I actually preferred this to what was in the early access game. It concludes with a literally impossible puzzle, but like once you see it, you'll just smirk and be like, okay, right, I'm not fucking doing this. They dump like seemingly half a dozen mechanics you haven't seen yet, whereas in the early access version, they try this, but it's a much more watered down idea where it's like, it looks like you could do it, but you keep doing things and nothing quite works, and then time runs out and you're like, okay, that was weird. So ironically, I'd actually just tell you not to get the full version of the game, just play the prologue. It's more pure. Light of Atlantis is supposedly a Metroidvania, but the content of the demo is linear. You start in one place, you proceed through a sequence of rooms that have no offshoots, and then you end up at a door that's got like 3 keys in it, but then that's where the demo ends. So presumably the demo, like full game, you go off in a couple of different directions, and maybe you get some new abilities. Maybe. I don't know. We'd have to wait and see. It's more of a puzzle platformer in the way it currently is. Basically, you push stuff onto switches, you raise and lower water levels. There's not too much in terms of combat or wicked sick movement or things of that nature. Yeah, it's just mainly a puzzle platformer dressed up. What are they trying to pull here? I've seen the Karters 2 Turbocharged described as a poor man's Mario Kart 8, which is stupid because it's clearly a poor man's Crash Team Racing. It's got the same triple tier boost mechanic, but I think you can just like hold it and not spin out, and there's no clear point where you get like an extra special super mega boost with explicit timing. Like I'm looking at my exhaust pipes in the gameplay throughout this, and I'm not seeing the nuance of Crash Team Racing, the true patrician's kart racer. I got stuck on a cozy, chill-looking puzzle game that looks like its intended age was children. Embarrassing. Ascending Inferno is definitely one of those games in the vein of Jump King, where the developers want you to punch your balls in a rage as your thing falls a zillion floors back to the bottom, and you want to tear your fucking hair out and slam your head against the desk and smash some glass. And it looks like maybe you'd walk into the football and then it would stick to your feet and then you'd kick it. The ball doesn't stick to your feet at all. You have to walk up and run into it with your own momentum and kick it from whatever wacky angles and just hope for the best. And hope it doesn't fall down a hole you didn't see due to the game's, quite frankly, the 2.5D look it'll get you. It will get you. You will be got. It's coming for you. The Court of Wanderers is a pretty interesting Sokoban game. I guess there's 3 dimensions to it because you can go upstairs, so there's like a whole Z-axis to it. But it's not just the pushing of the boxes. There's also these gimmicks on the floor where if you step into them, they rotate everything around them. So you can not just rotate pushable objects, but non-pushable objects such as bridges, staircases, etc. can also get twisted, and these become their own puzzle. Visuals are very, very prototypey. They're just like kind of straightforward white rectangles, which is odd because I've checked out the guy's Twitter, and from 2021, there's like potential final artwork, how it should look, but this isn't reflected in this demo that I played in 2023, 2 years later. So I guess it's graphical implementation that we're waiting for. These puzzles seem really solid, and at the end of it, it's like, hey, here's samplers of other potential puzzles you could see. You don't get to interact with them. You simply walk on a bridge over them, and you can be like, yes, I can see how this puzzle's gonna go. Eternights is an incredibly goofy-looking, story-focused RPG. I don't know, is it even an RPG? You hack and slash at people with a sword and dodge things, so maybe it's not an RPG. But what do you know? It's foreshadowed that there's some sort of medical thing on the market, and it would be so insane if something went wrong with it. Massive wall appears. And these two horny guys bump into the only other woman in the world and watch her friend get brutally murdered in front of them, and then someone cuts off the main character's arm. Yeah, no, it's a little Japanese, I guess. Oh my god, he's freaking out!
Is that Yuna?
Yeah, bro, it's Yuna. Okay, you're just not... There's literally a fucking keyboard on the screen, and it's not responding to keyboard inputs. It's responding to WASD inputs to go around the keyboard. Remain calm. Gravity Castle is a 2D puzzle platformer where your character can move and jump. It's more a skill of the castle that it can rotate and flip. Cause you can't do it at will, you have to do it at certain points. Because this could have simply just been like sequential levels, go in one room, do a thing, clap, 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 3 stars, next level. But this is all one long run-on level. Like, it's a big sprawling castle, like kind of a Metroidvania. There's no abilities, but it's just that's how all the rooms are connected. It is worth mentioning that at well, not the end of the demo, it was the end of the demo because I got soft-locked. I struggled to figure out what the fuck I was meant to do in this room, and I tried one thing, it worked, and then I couldn't turn the castle because, once again, it's not your ability, it's the castle's ability. The Gravity Castle's ability. Hot Blood is a game where you go shopping with your boyfriend and then zombies attack you, so you have to go and beat their ass without a shirt on. I downloaded this to see how far they'd go, how far they'd push the cheesecake aspect, and not very far. There's a couple of costumes you can buy with money, but mostly it's about beating the piss out of zombies, and they die in spectacular ways. Blood goes flying, ship breaks, ragdoll, slow-mo, flashing lights. It was pretty good, I'll be honest. I wasn't expecting it to be much of anything. I was expecting it to just be some fucking jizz bait thing. But I enjoyed it. I had my fill, so like I'm not really sure how they're selling a game here. Like, you can't go downstairs, but what are you gonna do downstairs? You're gonna beat up more zombies, surely, and buy more ass-showing outfits. In a world where Streets of Rage 4, 3, 2, Fight and Rage, the Capcom Beat 'em Up bundle, in a world where those exist, how are you coming with this shit? Get out. This game is Hotline Miami for people who don't have the reactions for Hotline Miami. It looks nice, I guess. New Heights was pitched to me as a realistic climbing simulator. Here, come around the corner. There you go. Fucking hell. Yeah, it's a climbing simulator, but it's a pain in the fucking balls, clearly. The same press WASD to move your core. Jeez, it's like a body who fucking refuses to move around the corner. Oh my god, you dumb bitch. Put your foot down, you dumb cunt. Oh my god, look at the core strength. Look at the core strength. Wow. Having been to some rock climbing IRL, I do find it weird how the controls make you feel like you're 50 foot up in the air when you're actually 50 centimeters off the ground. That's impressive. Probo Rush and Full Moon Rush might be the same game? They're by the same dev, and the demo came out at the same time, and they both got the same setup of, hey, here's one boss out of 10, and you shoot them, there's a big energy bar, it's like Contra. It's just in one you're like a small Contra guy, and the other one you look like you're a lizard? Blue lizard? And for some reason in the lizard one you're shooting like 3 beams instead of one line. Full Moon was much more preferable. I don't know why. Looking back at this footage, it seems like they're awfully similar. The tiny-ass bullets in the first one, which I think is Probo Rush, don't look nearly as cool. I think Full Moon Rush just looks cooler overall. Why do you release 2 games at the same time? I think I said this in my commentary for the video. Why not release 1 game with 20 bosses in it? Why not just do that? Project Sphinx is a game where you throw a ball at walls and then you teleport to it. This allows you to go through tiny holes that you couldn't go through with your big head, presumably. It's a first-person puzzle in the vein of games like Cube and Mag Runner Dark Pulse, which unfortunately the demo of Project Sphinx is now the complete game of Project Sphinx because they've ended development on whatever they had in mind, and this is all you're getting. So this is just kind of 100% of the thing now.
Pygmalion is a puzzle game / VN, whether you want to see it as a VN that happens to have a puzzle spliced in between the chit-chat, or whether you want to see it as a puzzle game that's got VN stuff spliced in between the puzzles. It's like 50-50, I'd say, between story scenes and puzzles. But the demo itself isn't super great because they begin with some seriously knuckle-dragging shit. Look at this shit. You're given a square and you just drag the things into each other. I understand you need to tutorialize stuff at the beginning, but this stuff felt really idiot-proof. Like really hand-holdy, bringing you along step by step. It's like the Neuronica early access stuff I was mentioning before. It's like, here's the baby steps to that thing that's actually going to use a brain cell. You're like a fucking giga nerd. There's a professor or whatever, and there's a maid who may be AI, who says some bad stuff. It's been a long time. I can't really recall, but you're a nerd. Professor not being straight with you, and then maid rude. The demo does at least end on something intriguing, making you think about where it could go, and the puzzles have at least evolved into something that, you have to use your brain. And you get some bonus puzzles after the story part of the demo is done, so you can see potential peaks of where they could go, the potential they could hit. Nice, considering the dumb shit they made you go through at the beginning. Quadroids is a platformer where you can only control the jump of your character. Your jump button is based on which portion of the screen you're currently in, and when you transition, after the initial tutorial stages, the stages get a little more head warpy, more non-linear, brain twisty, I guess I'm trying to say, and then they eventually throw in the twist that there'll be multiple people on the stage at the same time, but since they're broken up into different screens, you can control each of your character's jumps. I could tell you that Toziuha Night is basically Castlevania, but then I wouldn't be telling you anything you can't see with your own eyes. There's at least some interesting mechanics with blood and special attacks and meter spending and things of that nature, and you can equip things that give you perks or little unique abilities. Not quite fully game-changing abilities, but it's like, if you're underwater and you bump into something, it'll explode, which is not useful. And when you figure out the reason why afterwards, you feel a little stupid. Unplug the Game, I'm not sure if this is like a parody, because Unplug the Game is a very on-the-nose, goofy title that you think a parody would give to itself. It's like you're handing a critic a giant stick for them to beat you with. Also, it's the dev has put themselves in the game in like FMV cutscenes. Why? Why would you do that? I mean, I guess, who can you trust other than yourself? I don't know, man. I don't know. The gameplay itself is like cyberpunk dystopia, Unreal Engine looking pink lights everywhere bullshit. There's stealth, and you can jump, and you can stealth kill, and you can punch people? Did you punch people?
No, sorry, Gambit does not matter in this world.
But there's one region where you have cover and they want you to shoot at people, but the robots just simply rush around the cover to beat your ass. What's the point of fucking guys walking around?
Goods.
Like, wow. Why hasn't AI ever thought to do this before? Veil All or Unknown is a 3D platformer where you can do basically whatever the fuck you want. You can jump, you can fly, you can ride down walls. There's grappling hooks, but they're from preset point. This game is simple looking 3D models. I don't know, I never model shit. It's better than what I could do, basically. Man, I really need to script these. I posted this in a Discord and someone said, holy shit, is that the new Peter Lance Who is Peter Lance? He made Castles on the Coast. Yeah, that game. The one with the elephant. It's basically a 3D platformer, and you got jetpack, and you're a giraffe, and you know he does what he does. Whatever. Yeah. Am I gonna go back and re-record this? No.